Hello, listeners. I'm Giovanna Moreno, one of your co hosts. I'm a sales and marketing intern working from Comcast Battery office in Atlanta this summer.
Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. As always, I'm your other co-host, Jackie Romer, a finance intern for the greater Chicago region, working from the Battery this summer as well.
I'm so excited to be back for another episode. I've had so much fun engaging with everyone and hearing about their experiences.
Me too. I find everyone's advice is super helpful as well. Hopefully, future interns will experience that and have a better mindset going into the internship.
On this episode, we will be discussing new changes and chapters of life. For many of us, working at Comcast is a completely new point in our lives, whether it's our first time working, first time not being in school, or both. It's a huge change and the beginning of a new chapter.
Exactly. Navigating these changes can seem like a lot as well. So I'm glad we're going to discuss how starting a new chapter can really be.
On this episode, we are welcoming Mason Hill, a finance intern from the Big South region. He will be sharing about his experience starting his new chapter with Comcast and how he has navigated these changes. Hi, Mason. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for having me. I've heard a lot about the project, so I'm excited to hear more.
All good things, I'm hoping.
It's been super fun having such a largely collaborative intern project like this. Participants from all departments are involved, and it's nice to hear from so many different perspectives and see how differently everyone works on a daily basis.
Speaking of hearing from others, Mason, could you share a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, where you went to college, a hobby you enjoy? Basically, a classic introduction so that our listeners can get to know you.
For sure. So born and raised in Smyrna, Georgia, right outside Atlanta. I've been to the Battery a lot, grew up here. So when it came to going to school, wanted to go to UGA always. So, hour and a half away. Currently a rising junior studying finance and MIS. Having a great time at UGA, head of external affairs at Terry Student Consulting, Atlas Business Society. I'm a member of BYX fraternity. So that's been a lot of fun. Fun fact about me is that I'm a car enthusiast. I've had a few cars here and there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up around cars almost my entire life, so that's super cool that we have that in common.
Do you have any car in particular that you'd consider your dream car?
I have a few dream cars, but if I had to pick one, I'd say a McLaren 750S convertible is probably my favorite.
Okay, yeah, that's so cool.
So Mason, what team are you working on this summer with Comcast? I'm assuming you're in person because you're from Atlanta.
Yep, been in person, shown up Monday through Friday. It's been awesome to be in the office. So I work in business assurance, which is a subsect of finance in the Big South. Being in the office has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I'm also a finance intern working with a business assurance internal audit team. I found it really exciting and cool applying all of these new skills I've learned from just my courses, being able to apply it along with my other experiences to a real full-time corporate career experience.
Speaking of new skills and changes, that's what our episode is all about today, the new changes and challenges interning and commencing our career.
Sounds great.
So could you give us a short description of your department and team?
For sure. So again, I work finance. I got 3 people on my team. My manager, Jeff. I work with 2 analysts, Jovanda and Darielle. Specifically, we look at corporate credit charges. We look at fuel purchases. We do in-store audits and look at sales commissions, payouts, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's super cool. As I just stated a little bit earlier, my team works in internal audit as well. So it's relatively similar to what Mason's doing, but also we are looking more at all the other programs within the greater Chicago region, doing our own in-store audits similar, and being able to do our fuel transactions, exceptions, things like that, and even doing deep dives into some of the programs that Xfinity offers with their customers.
It's very cool that you two understand each other's work. Mason, could you take us through what your typical day looks like?
For sure. So I'd say every day is different, especially when you're doing in-store audits. Those are completely different. But on a normal day, I'll get here to the office at about 8:30, fill up my water bottle, sit down at my desk, and check my emails, check Teams, and then I'll get to it. Right now, doing a T&E travel expenses audit. So I'll usually, pull up Excel sheets and perform analyses, make pivot charts, pivot tables. We use smaller softwares, but I'm in Excel for the most part.
Yeah, I definitely spend most of my time in Excel as well. So it was definitely a nice transition from college being able to move into that. But overall, being the new person in the office can feel like a challenge, especially when everyone's well adjusted and used to the formats. And it's just a reminder that everyone's in a different chapter or stage in life. And we as interns are learning the entire time.
Exactly. Even amongst our intern cohort, we have participants from all walks of life. Some who are in their first year, some just graduated college, came back to school after some time off, etc. So, how do you feel that this has impacted your experience with Comcast?
I'd say so. Kind of going back, I'd say it's awesome that we have interns specifically that come from so many different backgrounds. Take Jack, for example, he's a rising sophomore. We also have some interns who are graduates. We have interns, most of them are, or a lot of them are from the state of Georgia, but we got folks from Louisiana, Florida, Ohio, different parts of the country. And so it's awesome to have people in different walks of life, different parts and stages in their lives because they bring unique ideas to teams, whether that's problem solving or whether that's just creativity. It's great to have the diversity of thought.
Yeah, that's super well said. I think that resonates well with my experience. As you said, there's so many people from out of state. And as a student, I'm a rising senior at The Ohio State University at the Fisher College of Business. And I've found that my courses, my skill set are kind of unique to my college experience because I've gotten so many classes under my belt from every single business major. And learning to adapt to them is important for this new chapter in my life where I commenced my career, hopefully in a corporate setting. So, do you feel like your education and skills have translated to your workplace at Comcast?
Uh, to be honest, I don't think so. I'd say a lot of what I use on a day to day is material and like social skills and all that I've learned outside the classroom. UGA specifically, it's been awesome, but like I've taken Swahili and that was a great class, but I don't ever see myself going to Eastern Africa and using that. But same with like English classes and stuff like that. So I've really leveraged, what I've learned outside the classroom in my internship.
Yeah, that's understandable. School is different for everyone, and whether it's the coursework directly or our clubs, organizations, and internships, we are using those college experiences as our stepping stones.
For sure. Not to brag, but like I got my Eagle Scout and I've got some other certifications. And so using the skills I've gotten through those programs have definitely helped me a lot more through the internship than the traditional academic route.
Yeah, switching gears a little bit, another aspect that maybe you or other interns haven't experienced yet is a 40-hour work week, which is standard for many careers. How has your experience transitioning into this full-time work environment been as a summer intern participant?
I'd say overall it's been pretty smooth. It wasn't too large of an adjustment. My commute's a mile and a half every day to and from the office, so easy commute. Specifically for school, I have a full-time schedule, and for a little while I was working a full-time job, and so I was working. Wake up 8 a.m., school to noon, and then work to about 8 p.m. So, working 60 hours down to 40 has actually been a pretty easy transition. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And another thing that I've surprisingly enjoyed that has been a new change is office wear. During the school year, I really just wear what a typical college student would. But even the little things like making my dress code more formal into office attire has been enjoyable.
Yeah, I had to buy a few button ups, buy a couple pairs of jeans. Had some dress shoes I was going to originally wear, but I talked to Ernesto. I think it was the second day. And Ernesto, he runs the UR program. For all those listening, he said I was allowed to wear my Air Forces to work. So I was super excited that and basically worn the same button ups, jeans, and pair of Air Forces every day. So
Yeah, I learned that Comcast has a lot of flexibility and it's really good at making things work for you. And I also love wearing business casual fits with my sneakers. Comcast has a great sneaker culture.
Yeah, and with that, Comcast has also been great at supporting our intern cohort in whatever we may need. They really help provide from what we learn to what we know to succeed in our intern programs. Are there any specific experiences or events that have really resonated with you, Mason?
for sure. So for those listening, part of the internship program is that we get to engage with intern experience days every other Thursday. We have pretty much the entire day, different outside speakers or internal speakers will come speak to us about a specific area where they have extensive knowledge in. I'd say for me personally, we had a gentleman come in who was a former Harvard business student, and he runs a small consulting firm and taught us about personal finance. And so that was definitely my favorite experience day so far. We also had a gentleman come in who was a LinkedIn expert. And so it's been really great to have all those perspectives and all those professionals come and speak to us.
It's those supplementary opportunities that help shape Comcast's unique intern experience. Is there anything that you've learned here at Comcast that you did not learn in school, like a new skill that you've acquired?
That's a great question. As I said earlier, I feel that I learned and grasped things best through experiences. So I definitely have learned a lot from working at Comcast and coming to the office every day. A skill that is I've really leveraged has been patience. It's an adjustment to acclimate to the speed and the pace of everything at the office, and I tend to pressure myself into wanting to fit in and catch up with everyone. But that's not really the point of interning. The point is to learn, and I have to have patience with that process. A physical work-related aspect of learning that seemingly simple divisions like audit being a section of finance aren't simple at a big company. These are divisions within divisions. So, for example, within audit, there's a plethora of smaller audit divisions. It's much more complex as you go breaking it down. And that also puts into perspective just how big the company is. Learning how to navigate those divisions and the finance department definitely took time and patience. Also, despite the copious amount of time that I spent with Excel in the past, this internship role has forced me to get to understand Microsoft products a lot deeper than I had in school.
Yeah, we really appreciate the breakdown. And overall, I think the intern experience has been so rewarding, whether it's on a personal level with skills like patience, that's definitely one I've had to learn as well, or in our specific career areas. Our podcast guests always have an array of unique growth points to mention.
I'm curious, of all the changes that you've experienced this summer and entering this new chapter of your career, which has been your favorite or the most rewarding?
I'd say being able to come into the office and work with other people. At some of the prior jobs I've had, they've been virtual, and so you lack that human interaction. Being able to come in, pop in on meetings, play ping pong after work with some fellow interns, and really get to build friendships outside the office has for sure been the best part.
Yeah, and then on the flip side of it, what do you think has been the most challenging throughout this experience?
Hmm. I'd say trying to understand the intricacies of some of the pieces of software that we use. I'd cite Excel primarily. It's an awesome platform, really love using it, but there are a lot of small nitpick things about the platform that you really get to understand once you interact with tables that are hundreds of thousands of rows, and that takes time and patience.
Well, I'm not in finance like both of you, but I can definitely relate to the challenges and the difficulties. But in the end, it's all very meaningful and helps us grow.
Yeah, I think a huge focus of the Comcast Central Division internship experience is really creating the future with interns. So as we learn from our teams, they are also learning from us. How do you feel this has been replicated into your internship experience?
I could give a few examples, but the one I'd like to give is my cross-functional project. Specifically here on the fourth floor in the Big South, we had basically there were groups of 3 interns. I was broken with a PR intern, Sammy, who's awesome. Same with Justin and business services. He's also awesome. And we got to work together to grow XM Mobile or create a pitch in the various ways to grow that specific sector of the business. My focus was on the finance side, and so I was able to put a phone lease program together, and we all were able to pitch all of our ideas to Jason Gums, who effectively runs the Big South. And so we did really well. I think our presentation was well received. So yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, congrats. That's super cool.
Yeah, I hope it goes well and it can be an impactful project that continues to play out in the future, even after our time here.
Hope so. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, Mason. Chatting with you, getting to know your insights on this new chapter of your career has been amazing.
Before we get off, though, just one last question. It's a very important question we always end our shows with. For our future interns, what advice would you give them to make the most of their internship experience?
For sure. I would say approach everything with the highest level of confidence, knowing that you'll fail through trial and error. That's just part of the learning process. Being curious, asking questions, and doing everything in your ability to learn as much as possible is really going to set yourself up to be both a successful intern and eventually a successful full-time employee.
Thanks, Mason.
Thank you for tuning into the Internet Podcast. This episode was put together by our project lead, Jack Uzinski, producer Darian Carter. Script was co-written by Samantha Barron and Esperanza Torres, and script editor Leah Bader. Co-hosted by Giovanna Moreno and Jackie Romer. The podcast was edited by Lauren Banks, and the graphics were created by Rabia Kang. A big thank you to our support from the University Relations team, Employee Communications, and Talent Brand teams at the Central Division, including Janda Anderson, Ernesto Sosa, Stephanie Beard, and Renee DeSantis.
If you want to deep dive and create the future with us, please don't forget to apply this fall for a summer internship. Applications open in September, and we're looking forward to hearing from you. Stay tuned for the next episode and all season long, as we'll be bringing our best selves. See you then.